Next story on Infowars Nightly News. Corporate media officially stops covering Paul campaign. GOP presidential candidate Ron Paul and his supporters have long complained that the establishment media deliberately operates a blackout when it comes to Paul's campaign, a claim that has been verified time and time again. Of course, you had the infamous Jon Stewart clip from months ago where he documented that. Now, yet more evidence has emerged that highlights the level to which the media is purposefully sidelining the Libertarian Congressman. As Dylan Byers of Politico reports, NBC News is the only media organization that still has a reporter covering Ron Paul full-time. With only 4 candidates remaining in the race for the GOP nomination, with Super Tuesday looming, and with the Republican National Convention just 6 months away, you would think that mainstream media organizations would have dispatched at least one reporter to cover each of the candidates' campaigns. Not so for Ron Paul, however. Quote, "I'm the only dedicated embed consistently covering Ron Paul," NBC's Anthony Terrell has declared. So even as Ron Paul prepares to play a major role in the outcome of the Republican nomination here coming up in a few months' time, of course, with the likelihood of a brokered convention, the media have basically reverted back to type, which was their original position, after all, to ignore Ron Paul altogether, even as he continues to pick up delegates, which leads us to our final story on a related issue, and that is Ron Paul campaign announces new ad buys attacks Romney. That's right, Mitt Romney. The Ron Paul 2012 campaign has announced new ad buys in Washington and Vermont ahead of Super Tuesday and plans to air an ad attacking Mitt Romney, dispelling suggestions that he and Paul are secretly in cahoots. Paul's three-of-a-kind ad is now airing in Washington on the Fox News channel ahead of the Evergreen State Saturday, March 3rd caucus. The 60-second spot exposes the shortcomings of all 3 of Paul's GOP opponents, with a particular focus on Mitt Romney, labeling him a, quote, flip-flopper who's been on all sides, supported TARP, bailouts, and provided the blueprint for Obamacare. So, of course, over the past 2 weeks, we've had this political stunt, which Lou Rockwell on this show, turns out it was dead right when he called it an establishment trick, to claim that Ron Paul was in cahoots with Mitt Romney because he was, you know, supposedly groveling for this VP slot. First, Ron Paul came out and dismissed that completely, and now he's actually putting out ads attacking Mitt Romney for the big government gun-grabbing Obamacare-supporting socialist that he is. So the establishment neocons and the rest of the media who tried to insinuate that Paul had sold out his supporters by making a deal with the devil, this mythical pact with Mitt Romney, they're going to have to move on to smear number 578 or whatever number we're up to now with the attacks on Ron Paul. So we can officially put that one to bed. Ron Paul is going all the way to the convention as the only anti-establishment candidate, and all those Americans who vote for anyone else, well, they're going to get exactly what they deserve, which is another 4 years of war, police state, fiscal insanity, and the crumbling edifice of America as leader of the free world. Coming up on Infowars Nightly News, Aaron Dykes talks with Foster and Kimberly Gamble from the Procter & Gamble family about their new documentary called Thrive, which is a kind of leftist perspective on the global conspiracy, covers all manner of issues. So Aaron will delve into that with those filmmakers shortly on Infowars Nightly News. Now we're going to go to the quote of the day, which is from none other than Rupert Murdoch, of course, in the news recently. And of course, this is also pertinent in light of Andrew Breitbart's tragic death because it pertains to the wider media tug of war between Murdoch and Soros on the left. Quote, "Much of what passes for quality on British television is no more than a reflection of the narrow elite which controls it and has always thought that its tastes were synonymous with quality." Rupert Murdoch, which is why we're all the more thankful that Infowars Nightly News has now actually found its way onto British television on the satellite system on Showcase 2 on Sunday night. So we'll continue in our efforts with your support to expand our territorial gains in the 21st century for the battle of minds in the information war. We're going to go to a break now. Coming up, Aaron Dykes with that fascinating interview. Stay tuned.
One is a serial hypocrite who lobbied for Freddie Mac before the housing crisis and for the individual mandate before Obamacare. Another, a counterfeit conservative who opposes right to work, massively increased spending, and funded Planned Parenthood. Finally, a flip-flopper who's been on all sides, supported TARP bailouts, and provided the blueprint for Obamacare. 3 men, 1 vision. More big government, more mandates, less freedom. 1 man stands apart, ready to deliver real change, voting against every tax increase and every unbalanced budget every time. A real plan to cut $1 trillion year 1 and to balance the budget in 3. Pro-life, pro-liberty, guided by faith and principle. Ron Paul, the one who will restore America now.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
And it's time to get out of the comfort zone because these people aren't playing games.
We're going to organize. Humanity's going to come together. We are swinging muskets here, toe-to-toe with the globalists. They're bloodied. We're bloodied. It is absolute, total war.